Okay, for Algebra 2, Lesson 10.12, the Law of Sines. The Law of Sines is this formula that you see in the top box here. It is true for every triangle, for obtuse triangles, acute triangles, right triangles. You don't need to have a right angle in it. Mr. Olson here wrote that it's to solve oblique triangles, when you don't have a right triangle, but you can even use it to solve in a right triangle as well, if you believe that. So listen, it's always side A over the sine of angle A would equal side B all over the sine of angle B would equal side C all over the sine of angle C. Let's review how we label. Here's a triangle where we'd have A, B, and C for angles. Remember what happens. If this is angle A here in the bottom left corner, you go directly across, and this is side A, which we write lowercase with little letters. Here's angle B at the top. If you go directly across, here is little b, that is side B. And then in this bottom right corner is angle C. When we go directly across, we'd have side C. So that's preliminary. We need to know what's happening with our angles and with our sides, but we're going to obviously use this green formula up here. We're only going to pick two of those fractions to set equal at a time. I know the formula can look strange having three ratios, three fractions set equal. But let's go ahead and take a look at our one and only problem today. We're only dealing with example 1. We want to solve the triangle. That means find all the missing parts. So it says consider triangle ABC. Angle A, you can see, is 115 degrees. I'm going to write my angles inside of the triangle. That's always a good habit to do. You can see they've labeled side A right across from that. Here is angle B. That's going to be 29 degrees. That's right here. So I'm given two sides. I'm also given C is equal to 5. And first, notice that this 115 degree angle, it sure doesn't look like it's really 115 degrees. In fact, little angles like that are less than 90 degrees, and you might fear that something is seriously wrong. But notice, and you're going to read this on ACTs and SATs, the figure is not drawn to scale. So trust me, this is a 115 degree angle. Your goal is to find the missing parts. When they say solve the triangle, they're saying find the missing angle and then find the two missing sides. So here's what we do first. You first find the missing angle. Always. And, it's not going to take you too long. You should remember that the three angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So I'm going to take 115 plus 29 degrees. And, you could definitely get your calculator out so that you don't do a silly arithmetic mistake. Of course, you can always just do this in your head too. You can see this is 144 degrees when you add them up, but we need to subtract 180 minus 144. It only takes you a moment to do that, and you can see very fast that your missing angle is 36. Your missing angle is 36. There will be an answer blank in ALEKS where the very first blank will always be for the angle. And you'll need to really focus in on that. And make sure you find that angle by adding up your two angles that are given to you, subtract it from 180, and you're good. Right now, though, I want you to look at the triangle, and you're always going to have this. You're going to have a capital letter and a little letter where you have numbers now. Look at A, B, C, and one of those letters, you're going to say, I know the angle and I know the side. I hope that you would quickly see it's letter C. I know capital C and I know little c. And that's so important. It's super, super important because remember how the law of sines looks. At the top of the screen, we had this A over the sine of A. We had B over the sine of B. And we'll have C over the sine of C. You will always find one of these letters where you have both pieces of information. Latch onto that because you're going to use that fraction twice when you solve. You're going to use that fraction twice. You're going to use the C over the sine of C. So first, let's find A. I need to find side A. It's right here. Ignore side B. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But you can see where we're going. We'll have A over the sine of angle A will equal, in blue, we had little c all over the sine of angle C. And now what you will need to do is plug in the information that you have. For example, I know angle A is right here. I'm going to say, hey, that's 115 degrees. I know that side C is actually the number 5. It's a length of 5. And I found angle C to start this off. We've got 36 degrees. You plug that in and you have a ratio set equal to a ratio that's called a proportion. We can cross multiply. We'll have A times the sine of 36 degrees is equal to 5 times the sine of 115 degrees. And there's just one issue. Our A is not alone. You can look right here. Our A isn't by itself. We're going to have to divide by the sine of 36. So, guys, at this point, you will need to take out your calculator. And I'm going to have alpha y equals show up. And I'll have 5 times the sine of 115 degrees. I'm going to close my parentheses. Come down here and we'll do the sine of 36. We need to get this to 1 decimal, and that is 7.7. So A is equal to 7.7, and we are almost done. We're almost done. What do we still have to do to solve this triangle? Well, there's one other side that we need to find. Now, ignore A. Pretend you found side A, but you don't care about it any longer. Ignore it. You're interested in finding side B. So I'll have B over the sine of angle B. Here we go again. What we had in blue, that's so important. You want to identify the letter that shows up for the angle and the side, the information that you have. You're going to use that twice. You can see it's going to help you in both of your fractions. And, side B I am looking for, but angle B, you can see that's right up here. That's 29 degrees. Here we go again. Side C, just like in our last problem, that was 5, right? And angle C, that's what we started this whole problem out on. We found it at the very beginning, and we found it to be 36 degrees. I'll tell you what, we're going to cross multiply. We'll have B times the sine of 36. Set that equal to 5 times the sine of 29. And then what? Well, we're going to divide by the sine of 36. And just like before, I need to get B alone. So let's just get a fraction up here again, alpha y equals. We'll type in a 5 sine of 29, close your parentheses. Bring that down, we'll have the sine of 36. And going to one decimal place, you will have 4.1. So B is equal to 4.1. So that is solving your triangle. You have your two sides, you have your angle over here.